And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We speak about your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. And if you think somebody might find this of interest, there's no law that says you're not allowed to share it with them. So go ahead and please hit the share button below. I'm a little bit under the weather, so forgive me, but this is what I do for the listening on and the viewing audience, right? I just gotta show up, right? You gotta push forward and show up. I was reading a very, very interesting post from Mike Piper, who is the oblivious investor. And he's talking about estimating the probability of dementia. And I'm going to read a little bit of what he writes, some excerpts from a paper. He goes, "This week I encountered a new paper that discusses the risk of getting dementia after age 55. The figures are alarming, especially given that in addition to however many people will get dementia, another significant portion of people will experience cognitive decline that is not diagnosable as dementia, but which will still be problematic in various ways." Here's some quotes. "In the present study, our primary objective was to generate contemporary estimates of the lifetime risks of dementia overall and across different population subgroups. We also characterized differences in the age of diagnosis and projected the number of new dementia cases that will develop in the United States over the next 4 decades. To achieve these aims, we analyzed over 3 decades of longitudinal data from 1987 to 2020 from participants in the atherosclerosis risk in communities study. In this large community-based cohort study, 42% of participants developed dementia after midlife." Another quote, "The median age of dementia diagnosis was 81 years. Interquartile range was 77 to 86 years. And I continue. I don't get depressed. I'm continuing on because this is really important. "Our lifetime risk estimates are higher than those in previous population-based studies. In the Framingham's heart study, 14% of men and 23% of women developed dementia from age 45 to 105 years. The lifetime risk of dementia aged 45 to 95 years in the Rotterdam study was 19% and 31% for men and women, respectively. The higher lifetime risk estimates in our analysis may reflect differences in dementia ascertainment." He says, "However, only approximately 20% of U.S. adults are meeting recommended lifestyle and cardiovascular health targets, and only approximately 30% of older adults with hearing loss are using a hearing aid." He goes on and on and on. Okay, so why is that important? Oftentimes I have clients, and what the remedy is in this business, if you're talking about sort of financial planning, oftentimes in this business, you meet clients who are elderly, and they start with cognitive decline. Sometimes it becomes very obvious. They'll call up multiple times. They'll repeat over and over again the same thing, right? I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a neurologist. I went through it. My father, blessed memory, had some slight dementia. It happens all the time. The reason is that then when it gets really problematic is when you have, for example, an individual account, right? You have one spouse, let's say, or just one individual, one single person on an account, and they start experiencing cognitive decline. Why is that problematic? Because at some point, I, the financial professional, will no longer accept orders from instructions from the said client because I know that they have cognitive problems. And, it's not really them. They're not making decisions with full knowledge. And this is a big problem. In fact, I met somebody today who was open literally like an hour ago, a couple who were opening up accounts, and the husband was having some health problems, actually. And I said, he's the one who's inheriting money. And I said, you know what, if you ask me, especially because you're getting, you're a little bit older, it behooves you to open up a joint account so that if you were to become incapacitated in one way or another, right? You're still alive, but you're incapacitated, and it's only you on the account. For all intents and purposes, right? De facto, the money's frozen. You can't access the money, and that might be at the point of time where you most need the money, right? Keep that in mind as well. So, what is the remedy? Well, the first solution is if you have a spouse to open up a joint account so that at least the other spouse who is functioning better mentally can make decisions. If you are a single, it is imperative that you get somebody that you trust, whether it's a sibling, a child, whatever, who somehow has, some kind of a trading authority on the account, a power of attorney on the account, something so that if something, God forbid, were to happen to you, the money can be accessed for your benefit. You might not be the one who's able to access it any longer because of your cognitive decline. But it is imperative that somebody get on that account. Again, they don't have to necessarily be an account holder if you're worried about that, but they can have, like we have what's called trading authority. All the brokerage firms have their own variation of sort of an unofficial power of attorney, or you can get a real power of attorney, a court of power of attorney, right? Which would then allow whoever you empower to transact, both buy and sell, transfer money, whatever, on your behalf. I can't stress how important that is. Because if you don't have that, like I said, you're sort of up the creek, right? The money, when you most need it, is not going to be there for you. And that obviously is more than just a shame. That's tragic. You've been tuning in to the Aaron Katzman Show. We speak to you about your life, money, and your investments. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. If you think somebody might find this of interest, i.e., if you have elderly parents, older friends, I would seriously encourage them to share this. Feel free to reach out to me as well. We have a lot of experience in this arena. Okay? Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.